Good morning, everybody. Good morning on this Friday, TGIF, right? So let's just hop on into the conversation early, right? So if you see my title, it is the completion of belief from believing to faith, right? So we're just gonna go straight into what the definition of believe is, right? Because many people may have their own assessment, like I have mine, right? To believe is to hold something as an opinion, think, or suppose, or to accept as a truth, to feel sure of that truth, right? That's the definition of believe, right? So we all know the story about the little engine that could. We can start at that level, not to say that or to be disrespectful of any sort, right? We know that the little engine that could. Throughout the entire story, the little engine that could would always say, right? I think I can. That means, you know, he believed he can without any certainty and without any guaranteeing. It's safe to say without any knowing that he could. You don't know your own strength. You don't know how to how are you gonna get it done. Right? So if we take it to from that aspect, we understand like belief is something that we have highly it's a highly thought, a highly mental thing that we think that we could do, or something to that level of a thought process, right? We believe we can get to work on time. We believe we can we can make a way out of no way. We believe there is a God, right? We believe, meaning, you know, I think, in other words, you have to have that, you know, assessment of understanding, or the aspect of just not knowing, right? To just round it off, right? There's no experience into a situation. So it's very easy. Like I believe Meek. Meek, I didn't acknowledge you. If I didn't, I apologize. But good morning. Uh, I believe that Meek is a good person. That means that I have no way of knowing if she is a good person if I am believing. In the religious aspect, I believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, right? If you go by that assessment, you saying that, you believe because it was something that may be taught to you, or you read it, or to the assessment of you don't have a way of proving or guaranteeing that that relationship has struck a chord with you, to where you have the understanding of knowing. That's why a lot of people still believe. I believe I could make $1 out of 15 cents, meaning I think I can do it. I don't have a way to make it happen. I believe I can do it, right? So a lot of us are still on that believe level, right? So we already understand what faith is, but for conversational sake, I'm going to look this up as I speak to you guys right now, because I know for the most part it's going to be on a religious aspect, right? But let's just go with this, right? A complete trust. Faith is a complete trust or confidence in someone or something, right? And of course, in spiritualists, right, they're gonna say a strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion. based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof, right? I don't agree with that part right there, but I'm going to go into content, right? So we're just going to go with the first part, right? A complete trust or faith in someone or something, right? Now, in order to have complete trust or complete confidence, there must be a thing that occurs into your life. That there must be a thing that confirms or something that actually happened, right? So, for example, if me and Meek have a conversation and she tells me something and I confirm what she says, that is that is no longer a belief. I believe Meek is right. I know she's right. Why do I know? Because there was a confirmation of the details that she's given me that confirms that I no longer think that she's right. I know, right? So that is like a aspect of faith, right? And spirituality, they know, faith is the substance of everything, evidence of things not seen, or evidence of things unheard, right? Hebrews, excuse me, Hebrews 11:1. That'll be the finest attribute of what faith is in in you know Christianity, the following of Christianity. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you don't have to see it to believe it, right? Now, we do live in the world where a lot of us have to see things to believe it, right? Because we don't. Why is that? Because a lot of us don't have that gumption of faith, right? We don't have that knowing of not seeing the division, not seeing the impossible become probable. We have those aspects going on in our everyday life, right? Because we are human beings and we have been groomed, taught, uh we have to see it to believe it, right? Like I've never laid eyes on me, right? But I have faith that like I know she's a real person, right? I don't have to believe that she's a real person because of her profile picture. We have seen me, whether she's going to work, whether she's doing hair, whatever it is. We have a gumption of now believe we now know who she is. We have an idea of what she looks like, right? She's you know, but here's the thing, right? Even without visually seeing, right? We have a opportunity of learning somebody, of visualizing somebody through their words, through their actions, right? So because we don't get to visually see, we can actually get to know a person, right? Like on this app, right? I can speak for me, right? So as much as I speak on this app, there should be a conclusion drawn. For some, it may be a belief. For some, it may be I know this guy, right? Because of my consistency, I hope people can assess me in a proper manner. Whatever your assessment is, whatever you have received from my conversations, my viewpoints, whatever have you, right? But there should be an assessment of what how I am as an individual, right? Some people might say, "Oh, he's loud." Some people might say, he don't know what he's talking about, you know. But a lot of the time, we're going to base that off of that's going to be based off of what I said. That for me is a belief of a person. Now, if you feel like there's a connection to what I'm saying, it's very easy for you to say, you know what, I believe him, right? So the belief factor is already in play. Now, as you get to continuously learn about me, right? And I continue to display myself, the title of belief should elevate. Well, the needle is going to be moved one way or another, right? Because if it ain't If you feel I'm lying, I'm lying. I'm a liar, right? But at the end of the day, I want people to have the faith that, you know what, everything that he's talking, Miss T, good morning. Everything that he's saying is who he is, right? So the growth of belief is elevating to a faith basis, not a faith of being a higher power. Let me just say that, because I know a lot of the time people like to put faith in a religious level. But let's not go there right now, right? Let's just say in order to be faithful, you have to have faith, right? So you have to have faith that whatever I'm saying is who I am. If you have that understanding, or you have that elevated belief system, you have faith that I am who I am. I am who I am portraying to be, right? That's why a lot of the times we can always walk around and say, I am, because we have that faith of, I know who I am. Commander, what up, now? I know who I am, and I can stand on what it is, right? In spiritual and religious aspects, we say God is the great I am, right? I am who I am, right? That's also another way to reach a root chakra, but I'll leave that to my 33 brother, right? But as far as the aspect of knowing who you are, you have that faith of understanding. I am Meek. I am Commander. I am Miss T. I know who I am. So it's no longer a belief. The belief system must be elevated into something of a no, right? You believe that your car could get you from point A to point B. But why do we look for a new car? Because we know if that car is new, there is no doubt that I could get from point A to point B just as long as I got enough gas, right? So that's the difference in believing and faith, right? So one could easily assess that one to believe is to think about it, to have faith is to know. Like through the conversations, I believe, you know, well, from what I see, you can have faith through something that's evident, right? If it's evident, you can see it, whether it's physically or spiritually, right? I have I have faith that Meek is going to do an excellent job of doing hair. Why? Because the fact of the matter is, there's people who can attest to what she does at at the beauty salon, at her place of her profession, right? I can say that people aren't just going back just to have conversations with her, and if they are, that's another attribute to the person that she is. They can confide in her. They can have the conversation, get their hair done, have get some advice while getting their hair done. So they may feel they're killing two birds with one stone. That's an assessment of knowing that she knows what she's talking about, one, and know what she's doing with this person's hairstyle or her hair, and the confidence of somebody, because we all know that we don't let everybody touch our hair. We know we don't like anybody. We don't allow everyone or anyone to play in our heads. Squirrel, good morning. So when you have that assessment, you have faith, you have the abundance of confidence that this person is who they say she is. And in this particular aspect, that's how people will be viewing me as she goes on and performs the duties that she performs, right? So why are we talking about this, right? Because a lot of times, whether we're on this app and we extend this app to off off social media or anywhere else, we have to have an understanding of who we're dealing with. Like the people that are here. I've gotten to know you over the past 15 months through your conversations, uh, 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 through your actions, things of that nature. So I can say safely that I know that you guys are who you say you are, right? Because if faith is only the evidence of what is in front of us, You guys are who you are, right? You guys are consistent. You guys come through and you show love. You show support, right? So it's very easy for somebody to say, you know what, I believe you guys are interested in what I'm saying, right? Now the evidence of that would be the conversations or the actions of after what you hear, right? It's like going to church. Uh, if if you if you believe that the pastor has spoken to you, right? There's an elevation of awareness, right? And once that elevation of awareness happens, it's like something enters your mind and enters your heart and soul, right? So now you're walking on it. You walk with the ascension of, hey, somebody gets me, somebody understands me. It may also allow you to have that conversation with the pastor, like, Pastor, that how did you know, or whatever the case may be. There's an elevation of believing in that person to, now, you know what, he spoke about me, God is using him, so on and so forth. So that's the elevation that we need to have on an everyday aspect, right? Like, I've spoken to Meek offline, and you know if I sit, like I always say, if you need somebody to talk to, and am I the last person to have a conversation with, I will be available. If Meek don't mind, I won't go into the conversation. But she has reached out to me before, and when she did reach out to me, she can attest to whatever the conversation was. But the one thing that she can say is that I don't have to believe that Gary's going to make himself available, because he made himself available to me. I expressed what was going on in my life. He kept it to himself. He got me through a situation, or he allowed me to vet whatever it is on my chest, right? So she can now say, I he's a man of his word, right? That's the part of faith that must occur. He is or she is a person of their word. We believe God is a is the God that don't change. Our God is an unchanged God. That's what Christianity tells us. He is an unchanging God. That's what they say. So through that, we have the faith that God is never going to change. Through faith, we know that God is not going to change. But as long as we believe something, there's always room for doubt. There's always room for thinking. When you know something, there's no room of of of, of doubt, because you know it. If you had that experience with God, can't nobody tell you your experience with God. That's where faith comes in. People that don't have that relationship with the God that they serve, it's always going to be, I believe God. I believe God. No, you should know God, because your testimonies, your statements of what God has brought you through, however He has brought you through, is not a. It's not a. It has to elevate you from believing to knowing. So how do we bring this into the human aspect of the situation? If I am consistent with my message, if I am consistent with my talk points, my viewpoints, whatever, then I put it on display. You have to say, you know what, he's too consistent for me just to believe him. But I get it. Belief is a mind state as well. When you know, you know. But when you believe something, it's a mental state. It's a thought process, right? It's something to say, well, you gotta show me that you do more than believe. I don't believe in a lot of you guys. I know you guys can do it, right? Like, if I believe that all of us are great, you have to I don't have to believe it, because if I'm telling you something, it's an above thought process, right? If somebody tells you they love you, do you think they love you, or are you just gonna take them for what it is, right? Do you believe them, or are you just gonna follow it, right? It's a two-way street. Like, if I tell somebody I love them, like, I love you guys, so what do? I support you in any way that I can, right? If you got a channel, I'll come through. I'll hit the like button. If you're talking about something that may reach somebody else on another level, I will share it out. That's the best way of showing faith in a person, because you believe that that person has a talking point and it will resonate with somebody. It will help them to elevate themselves or get themselves out of a situation. You don't believe it, because if you believe it, you're like, man, that's, yeah, But when you know that this will help somebody, there's no questions asked. You get up there, you push the share, and hey, this is something somebody needs to hear this, right? It's not a thought. It's not a thought, because you know that somebody may be going through that very same state, that this may help them. So you share the content, right? That's what we have to do as everyday individuals. We have to figure out if we are going to continue to believe in a person, or are we going to elevate into the aspect of knowing, right? Like I know I know that the people that I follow, I support, I am accustomed to, they have ways of helping people. I do know that. Does it mean that I believe in them? No, my belief in them has elevated into a faith concept, not to the point of being faithful. Now that's another conversation that we can have another day, right? Because just because you believe their talking point is good, they have to be consistent enough for you to follow them faithfully. But like I said, that's another concept, and another talking point for another day. But you have to like really know that um when you have that faith in somebody, that you really you know that their talking point is what it is. um you have to know that, you know when Miss T talks, I know that's coming from her heart. How do I know? Because it's her consistency, right? If she says, you know what, I need to I need to focus more on what God has for me. She's going to do that. And how is she going to do? She's going to display it through her walks, through her actions, right? So you do have to see it in order for you to say that person has faith in whatever they know, right? I have faith and my 33 brother, right? How do I have faith? Because we consistently have a conversation of how we can make something better. How can we grow this thing? How can we improve the aspect of, how can we make this a safe place for everybody? That's the reason. That's the connection between me and him in the first place. The fact that I have I have believed that this is what he really wanted in the aspects of the YouTube realm, that he wants people to have a safe place, a safe environment to come up and have conversations, to come up and learn about different aspects of life, different people, to have a safe community, a safe environment for people to come in and have the conversation, right? So once you enter the realm of believing, that's the first step. You get to know a concept, right? You believe it works, right? And as it goes along, you see somebody uh 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 elevate themselves, right? Hey, that's good. You understanding what's being said. So now you go from a belief to a faith that, yo, this will work. This will work in your job professions, right? You like, I speak for Meek, right? Um, when Meek decided to go ahead and step out on faith and make the move that she made, the intent was for her to elevate her profession, right? And so she took the leap. She took the leap of faith, not knowing what's going to happen. Was there doubt? I don't think there was doubt, but did doubt occur in her walk? We know that it had, because there was some downtime for her, but she kept knowing that everything was going to be okay. She didn't believe she was just going to sit there where she was, right? And because of that, she kept completing the steps towards the faith God has placed in her life. And now look, she's getting everything to where she's opening up the salon. She got the equipment. She just showed y'all on the video. Listen, I'm putting this together because this is getting ready to happen, right? She did that all through faith, but knowing that this is going to be okay. Not the belief that, you know what, God just told me to move, so I'm gonna move because of this, that, and the third, right? If you move on belief, you will be stagnated because you're always going to think that something wrong is going to happen. Why? Because a lot of us have viewed and seen what happens when doubt occurs. That's why a lot of us shouldn't be believing in something. We should know what it is. You should have the faith that going forward, everything is going to be okay. That's why when the people make their New Year's resolutions, I believe I can make it. They don't get to finish it because it was just a thought. They put a thought to, they didn't put a plan together. They didn't want to elevate the plan to put it into action. And if they did, soon as it fell, you went back into your normal state. But when you know who you are, when you know who is inside of you, you can go ahead and continue the process of elevating or completing the belief process into a know, a faithful process. That's the thing that we have to do as we go forward. And whatever it is that we are going to do in this season, well, y'all say the year 2025, but you know, there's seasons that occur with it, right? But you have to take the steps. You have to complete those little steps from the the believing state to the knowing state. I believe I can make $1. Okay, so now what's the first step that you make? Well, for some people, they say, you know what? If I pick up this can, I have 5 cents in my possession, right? So you you went and completed that first step, but you also found out and know that this is worth something. So now you continue the process. Okay, so now if I pick up another one, if I pick up 20 cans, I now know that I have $1 in possession. Now you complete the transaction of knowing how you put the can in the machine and it gives you whatever it gives you, whether it's $1 bill, 20 nickels, 10 dimes, 4 quarters. You have completed the process from believing to knowing that this is $1. When you are in front of a chair, right? You assess the chair. I believe that this chair can hold me. You sit down. You have faith in knowing that that chair is going to hold you. So you sit down and you become comfortable, knowing that your faith has led you into a comfortable situation, right? Belief can do the same thing, but it's just something about knowing. It's just something about having faith in what your assessment is, right? And when you do that, when you understand that the elevation of belief into faith is going to be the highest point that you can get, you're going to make the strides to do that, right? I have an agenda of making a place comfortable for where people can have a conversation. I have to continuously elevate that belief stage that I'm doing everything right, which is why sometimes I have to ask for input. I ask for input because I need to know if I'm on the right path, right? Because you could take the steps, but you could be taking steps backwards instead of forwards. So that conversation needs to be had, right? It's just like somebody that always has a, we have to understand that we gotta stop talking about uh the problem, right? I have faith that we can become solutions instead of just talking about problems, right? I am one of them people that feels like I can better help solve a situation than hurt it, right? So I have to allow myself, well, you have to build the trust in me to have the confidence just to believe what I'm saying. It's all about steps. It's all about process, right? So you have to know in full hearted that I am here to help and not hurt you. So if you confide in me, I am going to give you the help that you need to overcome your situation, even if it's just listening, even if it's you just yelling and releasing things into the atmosphere, my atmosphere, or whatever, however you want to view it. As long as you do that, that is a help and not a hindrance, right? So your faith will elevate because you know what? He allowed me to just go on and just spew whatever it was that was bothering me. He took it. He didn't judge me. He didn't say there was something wrong. He didn't do none of that. And now I can go on to whatever it is I can go on to because he allowed me to release that frustration, to release that hurt, to release that pain. And I am comfortable enough to say, you know what? I told him that 6 months ago. He hasn't said that. I haven't heard anything about it. Or I spoke to him a year ago about it, and he hasn't said anything about it. That elevates the faith in me. And I have to, in order for faith in me to occur, for faith for you to connect with me, I have to do the things that I said. I have to keep my word. This is why, in religious aspect, people believe that God is an unchanging God. God said He's going to do it, and God has done it for a lot of people. That's why you should not just be believing in God. That's why nobody could take away your relationship with God because the knowing supersedes the believing, the thought that he may do it, he may not do it. Uh, won't That's why people say, "Won't he do it?" You see what I'm saying? When you think about God, that's why they say, "God, won't he do it?" Because they know he did it. There's not a thought that he may do it. Oh, he's thinking about doing it. He's thinking about granting my prayer. That's why, for me, praise is stronger than prayer because when you praise it, you're gonna receive it knowing that God is going to do it. When you pray, you're asking. But that's another conversation for another day too. I'm sorry. See, when you have these conversations with that passion and that earning, like what God can do, there's no need to think about it. You're gonna have the conversation. You're gonna say what it is. Why? Because you know it's going to get done. When you know that you can do things, you don't have to think about it. You map it out to plan it to make the steps simple for yourself, but you are not thinking that you're not going to do it when you know you can. When you have faith in a thing, you know it's going to happen. If Meek didn't have faith in her skills of being a hair technician, she wouldn't have made the moves to elevate herself to do so, right? But when you think you can, right, you gotta take those steps, just like the little engine that could. He took the steps, he went up the hill, he chugged, he chugged, he chugged, he chugged. When he got up there, there's no thought. I did it. I can do it again. Right? That's why rich people, if they don't make it, if they was to go broke, they're gonna find another way to get some money back into their pockets because they know how to do it. There's no belief about it, right? Now, if they venture into something that they don't know, even their confidence of doing something before is going to elevate. I can do it. I can do it here because I've done it before. Now, some people might say that's arrogance. If it is, we'll have that conversation on another conversation or another level. But the fact that you know that you can do something it's better than believing or thinking that you can. It's just something about knowing something, right? When we was little, well, when I was a little kid, G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. That's how the show ended every episode. Knowing is half the battle. So if you know something, you know it's going to occur. Meaning, it's pretty certain that it's going to happen. When you think, you're going to have more doubt than no. Right? You're going to have more doubt than. Uh, I think this is going to taste good. But when you know you put the proper ingredients in something, you stir it up. That's And I knew this sucker was gonna taste good. Why? Because you knew what you was doing. You knew what ingredients, how much the ingredients needed, how much salt it needed, how much pepper, how much oregano, whatever it is. You knew how to blend that thing together to make it taste A1. So now you a chef, right? In order for Tay to make her mukbang, she has to know that she's going to make this so good that you can't believe that it's that good. It's past the belief process. Shout out to Tay, right? But that's how it goes, right? When you make content, you shouldn't just believe that people's gonna. You should know that what you're saying is going to touch somebody. You should know that it's going to resonate with somebody, right? I come on, I push live because I know this is going to help somebody. It may not reach the masses. I don't care about the masses. If it reaches the one that it's supposed to, that's the success. That's what my purpose is on doing this thing, right? So even if I don't have nobody here, if the view level was on zero, I still will continue this. Why? Because if I know once it's on the YouTube realm, I know it's going to touch one person. I don't believe it's going to do it. I know it because this is something that was placed in my heart. If you are doing something that God has told you to do, that's something that was placed in your heart, you you already know that is not meant for you. Why be? Hey, Susanna, good morning. Right? Why just do that? Why gain information? Why gain knowledge and not pour it on to somebody? Right? Why be a healer and not come out and heal? Right? You don't do that unless you know who you are. What's the point of having it if you're going to be selfish with it? The best thing about faith is that when you have faith, there has to be a pouring of an admiration or love. If you look at everything that I've spoken about over the past, what is it, 3 weeks now, all of the lives that I did since New Year's, they have all been about admiration, something that you have to do with love, with compassion, with understanding, with knowing. You have to do this stuff because if you don't, there's no need for you to be doing any of this, right? I understand this is not going to be the million views clickbait type material, right? Because everybody's not may not understand what the goal is for me. The goal is for me is to know that once this goes out through faith, through knowing, I know this is going to touch somebody. It's not for everybody because this is not a this may be unbelievable to some people, right? I can't believe that somebody would just come on out here and just take their time and worry about somebody else. That's the minority aspect of what most of us view on YouTube because we see the sectors and most of them is not of a encouraging aspect of something to uplift somebody for someone to say, you know what, I can make it, I'm going to be okay. I lost a friend, right? Now we all know that there's people there's some content creators that was lost last year, right? Rest in peace Papa Will, rest in peace to the couple other people that passed, right? Even if I don't have a connection with some of these people, right? We understand that there's somebody that needs to, that needs to be uplifted because sometimes we have to remember we're more than like we're influencers. And if you are understanding that you influence people, you have to have faith that somebody is going to resonate with you, right? Somebody is going to understand your viewpoints and say, you know what, that person has a good heart, a good thought process, or whatever it is, right? It's not about clicks and views for me. It's about me coming up here doing something out of knowing, which would be faith, and place it on the table for somebody to receive it, right? It's not because I'm going to get a million likes. It's not because I'm going to get 100,000 shares. If that happens, that's a blessing. Don't get it confused now. If that occurs, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that there are people that needs it more than others, and through faith, I am displaying what I feel or I know that somebody may need. Will it be for everybody? Absolutely not. Right? Because everybody, there's some people that could be in your bushes. There's some people that could be in your clouds. There's some people that could be in the raptures to say, you know what? I needed to hear that whatever that person is talking about. And if it resonates with them, you don't know what it's done. Right? I give this testimony all the time, right? I was going through a situation. I had a loss, right? And I came on here and I was just talking and talking and talking. And there was this one individual that came through that spoke to me for an entire hour that helped me get through a situation one, and we fed off of each other, right? That was through faith. That wasn't because I believe somebody's going to come through. It was through faith because there was just a gumption like, yo, go ahead and do that. And everything is going to heal itself. Physician, heal thy wound. Sometimes you could be a physician through your actions, through your words, right? Not because you got a PhD, but because your testimony can elevate somebody to understand what you're going through. And you may be healing them at the same time. That's a faith thing. That's not a belief thing. Oh, I hope this reach somebody. I hope that's for people that don't understand the power of knowing. That's for people that's only on the level of believing something. When you on that level of believing something, that's a lower level tier, right? That's like when the Bible says, look to the hill, right? When you in the valley, you in the belief mode. But once you get up to that hill, you can see everything that you passed to get to the knowing session from where you started from in your belief level, right? Those are the things that you have to do, right? If you're gonna be a Christian, do the things that Christ done. You know, if you know what Christ did, right? We getting ready to go through this Lent season, right? When you go through this Lent season, you should be fasting because you know that's going to bring you closer to God. If it brings you closer to God, you should be doing it. Why? Because your faith in God, you should have faith in God. Like He's not going to allow me to go without whatever it is that I am sacrificing. Matter of fact, He's going to elevate me from whatever it is I'm sacrificing, whether it's YouTube, whether it's 40 days without meat, whether it's whatever it is, right? You should have that knowing that God is going to take that pain away from you because you are drawing nigh or you are becoming closer to knowing God. Your faith in God should be elevating, and your fear of losing that thing that you sacrificing should be disappearing, right? Faith without works is dead, meaning if you don't have that knowing, if you don't put it into display, you are you don't have it. In other words, if I put it in my terms, uh, 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 if you allow faith, if you don't work your faith, it becomes stagnation. And stagnation, we know, for me, it kills dreams, it kills momentum, and it will always leave you in that state of believing. That's why you have to work. You have to work while it's day, because when night comes, you can't work it. Meaning that it's gone. It's going to disappear. It's no longer in your factor. So if you know that you need to elevate the belief into faith, you have to continuously work on it. I think if you fast, that's what it would do. Now, if you bring it into a non-spiritual or religious aspect, if you don't work on your craft, you will not know what you have in that said craft. If you are a handyman, if you don't do no type of work, you don't know how well you can be a handyman. If you if you are a good listener and you don't listen to nobody, you don't know that your craft is where it is because you have not worked on it. So too is the states of belief and faith. If you just continuously believe and not try to elevate it, you're gonna be stuck where you are. All these snowstorms that occurred in across the country, right? If you don't have that four-wheel drive, what you did, you left your car there and you found a way home, right? Meaning that you didn't have confidence that your car could drive through that storm, and you left it there until what? Everything dissipates and you go back and get your car. That's how it is with believing in faith. That's why the completion, it has to be it has to be successful. And in the world of sports, right? In order to to complete a pass, a reception must be made. In other words, if somebody throws it to you, you must catch it. If you catch it and make sure nobody takes it from you, you will be gaining something. In the world of sports, shout out to my alter ego, Mr. 33, you will either gain a first down, you will gain a reception, you will gain positive yards. That's the goal, to gain something positive. When you gain something negative, we tell you, yo, just let it fall. Don't catch that. That's no good to you. But a lot of the time people do receive negative things and have faith towards that. But I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking about those people that want to receive something positive to go forward with, to gain the yards, to gain the new set of downs. Right? So if you believe that God is God and God is throwing something to you, receive it so you can gain that first down to say, okay, God, what else is next for me? If you are going through a teaching session, somebody's teaching you something, receive it, gain it. So now you gain the next step to gain a new set of downs. Okay, I learned that part. What else can I gain from that? Right? But all of that consists of a fire that is being built in you, because there's an elevation, a growth from the completion, from the completion of believing to the reception of knowing. It's a big difference when you understand the two differences, right? You have to understand, even though they are aligning, but you have to understand that there's an elevation that must occur through this process in order for you to to stop thinking, to become knowing of that situation. I believe God. Now that I believe God, I must want to know God to elevate whatever it is. Now that I know that God has this in store for me, I'm going to walk in that line of faith to get to wherever it is that I need to get to receive what is for me. There, in order to be great, right? You have to believe that you're good, right? You have to be good in something, right? You elevate that, you receive it, right? Now, once that thing is completed, you have a greatness that's in front of you that you are now attained to go on to be the best version of yourself. There is an elevation from belief to knowing, or in this case, to keep the title going, from belief to faith. The completion must be completed. The elevation must be elevated. You can't be grown if you have to grow. If you're grown, you're not growing any longer. And even in this conversation, you have to grow the fact that you are believing. You must grow it into a process of knowing. Plants, like, it's dead. This is a dead season, right? But is anybody really seeing what's going on around them? Go look outside your window. Even in a dead season, there's still room for growth. Because guess what? If you look at your trees, there's some budding that's going on. I know if I go outside of my house right now, the leaves are starting to bud. Why? Because there's a newness that's occurring, even in a dead of a season, even in a deadness of something. There's some room for elevation. There's some room for growth. You must understand that the room for growing from believing to knowing is occurring in each and every one of you at this very moment. When you understand that, you say, "How is that possible?" You're going to doubt it because you like, "Wait, this is a dead season. How is it possible?" When you understand through faith, there's nothing impossible, improbable. There's no room to think that that something wrong is going to happen when that occurs. That's why we continuously look for God to that's why you look to the hills from which your help may come, because there's you deep in the valley. That it may be improbable. You gotta conquer your Goliaths in order to build your faith. You have to remove the fears that, right? You have to conquer, you have to defeat the fears. You may not be able to conquer it because there's maybe something else learned behind you. But once you defeat the first fear, you know that you can face anything because that greatest fear has now been defeated. That's how that's how the walk from believing to faith is occurring for each and every one of us. You have to understand that this is the place of growth, even in your darkest times, the darkest time of believing. I can't believe I lost this person. right? But if you understand that loss may elevate you, because if you do the things that person that you just lost would want you to do, if you do it out of faith and love for them and still conquer the situation, but despite what you are going through and through that loss, you know that person, you would know that person is smiling upon down upon you, like, you did well. I knew you could do it, right? You probably start laughing like, dang it, you know, it shouldn't have took me this long to understand what you're saying. But the fact that you still did it in spite of whatever time it took, right? It elevated you from believing to knowing. Now you know what they meant by saying, you know what, go ahead and push live and have that conversation. Go ahead and help that person. Go ahead and answer that call, even though that you know that call might be doom and gloom. You may be helping that person get through their situation, and your testimony will reveal if you are on that stage of knowing or you still believing. The steps that you take will attest to whether you're still on the stage of believing or on the stage of knowing, right? We know that Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you must understand that there are steps. EJ, how you doing? You must understand that there are steps, and take it. There's the steps that you take is going to get you to the destination of elevation, whether it's a baby step, a grown man, whatever steps it is. But there are steps that need to be taken to get to your destination. And in this step, and in this destination, you want to you want to stop thinking that you know and actually knowing. So when you stop believing and you have that faith in whatever it is, right? You can have faith in a person, but not make them a God. You can have faith in what you're doing and not make it a God, right? You can do all of this and not, it's just the fact that you are making it to that destination. Like, this is where the end is. The faith in when you love somebody, right? When you so look at the process of dating, right? You like the person, right? Then you get to know the person. And you're like, okay, I'm starting to like you a whole lot. Then that resonates into love. And when you resonate that into love, you become, you know, let's make this exclusive. And what does that mean to make it exclusive? You are now becoming faithful to that individual. It's the same process in reaching whatever destination that you have. It's the same thing, whether it's through God, whether it's through, reaching your highest expectation of an occupation, whatever it is, those steps occur in all aspects of life. This is not just a momentary thing, but it's a life thing, right? You become a parent, right? Dang, I love this kid. Now, how do I teach this kid? Okay, keep your balance, son. Let me help you keep your balance. You start teaching. You start teaching. Okay, you got it now, son. Can you walk? Oh, I got it, daughter. You got it. Can you walk to me now? Oh, you fell. Oh, come on. Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to shake that fear off. Oh, you going again? Yeah, come on. Those are the processes that you like, the simplest forms of life. People swear you can't learn from a child, but you can learn everything you can learn a lot from a child. Don't be too grown to understand that those processes that a child goes through goes to us, it stands for us even as we stand today, right? You still got to understand the balance. You still got to understand that you got to crawl before you walk. You still got to understand right after you crawl, you got to find that balance to stand on your foundation. If you want to elevate into a knowing foundation, to knowing, the foundation is you must stand up on and have a great balance of what it is that you believe. Believe is not the believe is not the only stage. You must elevate it into uh a knowing, a faith of something. You have to do that in order for that thing to become what it is. In order for you to become great, you must understand that your belief of what you want to be great at, you have to be good at it in the first place. So those are the things that must occur. You must complete the stages from completion to faith. You must allow that reception to occur. If it's incomplete, you will stay where you are. There will be no movement. That's stagnation. You have to understand that completion, that reception. has to happen. Not to hand it off, but like I said, in the sport aspect, right? We get ready to watch the Super Bowl. They talk about the quarterbacks. Why? Because they are the ones throwing it to the receiver, right? They're not worrying about running. As a matter of fact, sorry if you don't understand the sports analogy, right? But when you look at it, right, they have they have downsized the running back because even though they're breaking records, they're about to give it to somebody who's throwing the ball for people to catch. You see what I mean? When you understand that they minimize a certain thing, but in a total sport, in a total package, everything must work together in order for you to gain that victory. The running game must work. The passing game must work. The defense must work. All 53 players must work together in order for the team to succeed into its victory. Now it's only one of us, but there's many aspects of us that must work together in order for that victory to occur. So everything that we do, we have to process it from the belief stage to the faith stage. Whether it's getting to know that person, knowing the goods and the bads of the person, being able to neutralize that person, that negative aspect of a person, to see that the good outweighs the bad, for you to elevate the friendship that could be budding within these people. We have to stop, we have to stop worrying that the first signs of something going wrong, that we're ready to run from it, right? Because that's not how friendships are built. That's not how anything is built. Because something is wrong, we need to go in there and fix it. And once we fix it, we have faith that that can't happen again. Why? Because we have already fixed that problem. That's in all aspects of life, whether it's a friend, a family member, a friend that's budding on YouTube, wherever it goes. Those processes must be occurring in order for that elevation of faith in a situation, of faith in a friend, of faith in a goal that we have in common, whatever it is. I can't dispute something that's not occurring for me if it's occurring for somebody else. How does that work for you? Let me see if that works for me. Now, if it works for me, I may come and join the venture with you. That's how I meet people on here, right? If we have the same common goal, don't be afraid to work in a group, because if that individual goal is what everybody's working at, we can all work at it together. I have faith that the individual goal is going to be the self within this group. If it's to build the community, shout out to the 9%, that's what they're going to do. If I can assist in that, that's what I'm going to do. So we should not be worried about, you can't lose yourself. If you lose yourself in a goal, if it's completed, how did you lose yourself? The goal has still been made. You can't worry about the outside distractions. You can't worry about those people that don't believe in you. If you know you can, the belief that somebody else has in you will become irrelevant. Those are the things that we have to look forward to going forward. Those are the things that we have to do to allow the completion from believing to faith. And that's what must happen. If it happens any other way, and if it still works, you have to understand, if it's not going the way that I say it, you may have taken your own way to process it, but those steps will occur, whether it's the exact way that I'm saying it or whatever, because I'm not trying to be right. I need it to be right. I need the aspect of you elevating yourself from believing to knowing or having faith. If that occurs, however it occurs, it's not me. I can't take credit for it, right? One, you did the work. Two, you took the process. And three, you may have went about it a whole way. But if you now know something, instead of just believing it, all the credit goes to you, right? If you found God, all the credit goes to him. You get the victory, but he should receive the glory. That's what that means. But you have to take the steps in order to complete that task. You have to take the steps in order to do that. Like I said, we know that, like, I know I'm speaking in sports analogies because it's right in front of me, as far as the Super Bowl and playoffs and the championship rounds are coming up. But just look at it that way. They can run the ball all they want, but if they don't catch the ball, You can't even, if you don't receive the football, you can't even move nowhere. Nothing moves without it. So that's what you have. That's how you look at your everyday life. If somebody's trying to hand me something, I need to know what to do with it in order to gain the progression that I need to go forward with. So if somebody's telling me to believe in them, right, that I'm asking you to believe in me, believe in my process, right? I hand it to you. Now it's up to you to assess if what I'm saying is correct, or if I'm incorrect. I'm going to ask you to help me to make this a completed path, make this a completed concept. I can't, it's easy to do, it's not easy to do things by yourself. That's why you were given helpmates. And right now, in a family, all family members should be on deck. But if you don't have that relationship with a family, you make your own family, and they will assist you to get to where you need to go. And that's what the process is, all the way through, all the way around. Like you guys that are here, right? I'm calling you family, right? I'm calling Miss T family. I'm calling Scorp family. I'm calling Susanna family. I'm calling Meek family. I'm calling Commander family, right? All because you want to see elevation that occurs within me, just like I want to see elevation that occurs within you. And those are the things that makes a family a great, unique a force in somebody's life. They know that if they don't succeed, they can lean on them. If they fall short, they could lean on them. But for the most part, the family's gonna push you into succeeding in the first place. They will make sure you don't go without, right? And that's the thing. They believe in you so much that they will take from themselves in order for you to elevate, or in order for you to elevate, they will take from themselves. And those are the things that uh you have to elevate. That's the things that you have to see. You can't just go in and look at somebody like, oh, they phony, they fake. You don't know what they are. You can't go in there with the specs, with the things that's blocking your vision. Right? You got to take the logs out your eyes so you can see, whether it's spiritually, whether it's physically, whether it's emotionally. You must take those things out so you can have a clear vision to see if that person is believable or not. If they're believable, you're going to want them to elevate into a knowing. That's how I feel about everybody that comes through here, right? Am I a hopeless? What would they say? A hopeless romantic as far as this concept? Maybe so, right? I just know that it's possible. I know that it's possible that everybody could elevate themselves. I know it's possible that you can be great. I know these things. How do I know it? Because I know that it happens for me. I know that it can happen for you. But if you don't see it, it may just only be a belief for you. Matter of fact, that may not even be a belief. If you don't know it, you will be doubting me. You will be looking at me like I'm crazy. You will say there's something wrong with my logic. There's something wrong with my views. But until you see it in yourself, you can disagree all you want. But once you see it, I promise you, you're going to understand what I'm telling you at this very moment. And if you understand it at this very moment, you should begin the process of completing yourself into your greatness. Receive the fact that you can become great and strive for it. There's going to be some things you have to sacrifice in order to become faithful, right? To doing, right? No, it's okay. Do what you do, Scorp. I appreciate you stopping by, whether it's for a second or not. But that's what makes you, cool with me. That's what makes you family with me. The fact that you are supporting me is allowing me to know that I am in the right, I'm on the right path, right? Knowing that somebody is here because they they understand me. Some people might say you believe in me. So if somebody's believing in my logic, I must continue to have the conversation so that belief becomes an elevation into knowing. Now you know who I am, right? Now, so far in my conversations, you know I'm not here to talk about anybody. You know that I'm not here to cast aspersions on anybody, to talk down on anybody, to do any of those things. You know, it may have been, some people are maybe believing that they're waiting for that negative aspect to occur. But if it doesn't occur, they're gonna know. They're gonna have like, hey, he kept his word, so he's being faithful to his concept. He's being faithful to what he said he's going to do. Right? You no longer could believe that I'm going to do it because everything that I've done has shown you that I'm not going to, or I'm not intending on doing that. Will somebody fall short? We all fall short, of course. But for the most part, the consistency of me being who I am, it should allow you to have faith that I'm not here to cast aspersions on somebody, to talk about, well, you know what, Jimmy cracked corn and he got 4 toes. That's not what I'm here for. That's the faith that you should at least have throughout the entire concept. If you go through all of the videos, I can't even know how many, I don't really remember how many lives that I've done, right? But if you go through all of them, I can guarantee, I have this much faith in myself. I can guarantee that you will not hear me talk about somebody more than the numbers of fingers that you have on one hand. I can guarantee that. And if I can guarantee that over 100 videos, then you should have faith that I am who I say I am. There should be no longer a belief, but you should know that whatever I'm talking about, I'm trying my best to be, I am doing the best that I can to be consistent with what I have, and those are the things that you have to look forward to, right? No, Scorp, I don't believe that. Nuh-uh, Scorp, I don't believe that, right? Because when you say, I'm a highlight that for a reason, right? Because if you say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that means you don't want to learn. That means you feel like you're grown. That means you believe what you're saying. So you're going to be stuck in your ways. But if there's room for growth, that old dog can learn a new trick. It may not be as fast as that young pup, but you still can learn something new. But if you have faith that you can still learn, that I bet you that old dog can learn a new trick. I promise you that. There's not a doubt in my mind. I stand on faith with that. Anybody could learn anything as long as they want to be receptive of learning. I stand on that with every fiber of my being. I stand on that with faith. I don't believe it. I know it, right? Because here's the thing. No, no. It's okay. But I'm just saying. I'm showing it to you, right? That's like saying a person who is in their 50s or 60s can't receive love. You can receive love if that's what you're looking for. If you're seeking it, you will find it, right? So you can't say somebody up there in age can't receive something new. That's impossible. Because through life, if there's one thing that we should learn through life, that everything is a teaching stage. So if that's the case, Scorp, you can't learn nothing from your grandkids. You can't learn nothing from your grandkids. Why? Because you're not to be disrespectful. I'm just going by the terminology that was used. Because you are OG. OGs can't learn nothing new. No, that's not true. Because even in your oldest stage, for some of us, those grandkids is going to give us a renewing of life. Why? Because you see their energy, you see their passion, you see the swiftness of things. Now, for some people, they may feel jealous that they're old, but at the end of the day, you're going to be like, you know what? I actually could learn. What's that new lingo that you guys talking about? Uh, uh, swag or whatever it is, whatever the terminology is, they can teach you that. That's learning something new. That's a new trick. No, I'm just no, it's okay, right? But you just made a good talking point because there's a lot of people that believe that, Score. There's a lot of people that don't feel like a clown, but just understand that there's a lot of people that feel that way. You can't change me. I am what I am. No, you can change. You just gotta want to change. Right? You gotta want to change. You gotta want that elevation. You gotta want to know that you can actually do that thing. Stop believing what everybody tells you and know what you know. You see what I'm saying? If you do that, you can go a long way. You can listen, you can still be young at 80 years old and still learn something new. It's okay if you step on toes, right? But if you're stepping on toes, that means if you're doing it correctly, if you step on toes, that just means that hey, you hit somebody's nerve. Like, dang, you talking about me. Right. And that's what I'm saying. That occurs exactly when you said that. That's how it occurs. So you can't get mad when that happens, right? So that's what I'm saying. You have to understand that there's elevation even in life. Just look at just the elevation of age. You have to grow. Like if you was grown, you can't grow in age. You can't grow in wisdom. You can't grow in understanding. No, because you ain't trying to do that because I am grown. No, you are still grown. We are all still grown, whether we understand that or not. We're not talking about physically. We're not talking about physically. Please don't take it physically. Growth is still occurring within you, even at the ages that you are, right? Whether you're 30, 40, 50, well, 20, you already know you still got room for growth, so you shouldn't even be talking like that, right? The elevation is going to occur regardless if you're in your 20s, but in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, you still can grow. You can grow until you take your last breath. That's when nighttime, that's when night comes, no man shall work. That's what that means. But as long as you still have that spirit of breathing, that spirit that is still dwelling within you, you can always elevate yourself one way, one form. You can grow in faith, and that's a good thing. The fact that you are willing to grow, that means that you are still trying to have a knowing of something, right? Once you like, you can never stop. Like you can never outgrow God, right? This is crazy, right? You can never outgrow God. Ooh, that was beautiful, Meek. I promise that was. I'm highlighting that. That's when you stunt your growth, when you believe that, that's where it goes. But when you believe in God, you strive. What does it mean when you first get that spirit within you, right? You're going crazy, like, I need to know more about God. I need to know more about God. I need to know. So you in the book. You abstaining from everything possible that's going to stop you growing, right? From you knowing the God that you serving, right? That's how it should be every day when you trying to get to know what the faith is in life. Whatever your faith is in life, whatever your destination in life, you must elevate from the believing process to the knowing. Faith, right? That's what faith means to me. To sum it all up, right? I'm about to get out of here. To sum it all up, right? Belief is a doubt. Belief is not knowing. Faith is knowing. So when you complete the not knowing to a knowing, your strength, your faith is going to make you whole. That's the best way for me to sum it up. When you elevate from not knowing to knowing, when you elevate yourself from doubt to knowing, that's when you become whole. And there's always room to grow. So you may not be in your totality all the time because there's always room to grow. But as long as you elevate from that state of not knowing or complete misunderstanding or complete doubt, you will always be in that process of growing. Your faith is going to make you whole. That's the best way I can put that. So, you know, I don't think I can put it any better than what I have, right? Without driving you guys crazy, without reiterating the same points over and over and over. So because of that, I'm going to end the live because I know that I've said more than enough to resonate, not because I'm arrogant, because I just know that everything that needs to be said has been said. Now it's up to you guys for it to marinate within Let it sizzle in your spirit. Let it marinate in your soul. Let it marinate in your mind. In order for it to resonate, you got to allow that to occur. And for order for that to happen, I need to step away so you can think about it. Now, if you step away and don't think about it at all, I can't do nothing about that. But it's on the table. I'm leaving it to you guys. It's here. And if you need to rehear it, feel free to replay the live to make sure that the point is where it is, you know, and and of that nature. So I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Scorp, EJ, welcome in. I didn't get to greet you. I don't if I did, I apologize. Uh Susanna, welcome in once again. Uh, you know, Meek, Miss T, my nine sister commander, uh 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 Meek, my big sis. Like I said, everybody that came through, everybody that's in the clouds, I thank you for sitting there and even listening to me, right? I just hope that something, something made sense for you to have the thought process of evaluating if what I'm saying is right or not. If you feel like it's wrong, then I can't tell you how to feel. If it's right, then it's right. It's not about me, it's about the process of growing. That's how I feel. That's how I'm moving going forward. And with that being said, everybody, I truly appreciate you guys coming through. Uh, until next time, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'm out.